Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hey, this is Anna and welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. In this episode, I interview Karin Freeland. Karin is a recovering corporate workaholic. After years in high-pressure leadership roles at Fortune 500 companies, she's traded the boardroom for the bedroom. In her hilarious tell-all book, The Ins and Outs of My Vagina, a penetrating memoir, she recounts the mishaps and misadventures she's had over the past 40 years with a special partner in crime, her vagina, named V. Women of all ages can relate to this raw and honest journey of first long-term relationships and finding pleasure. Karin also is a speaker, a certified life and reinvention coach, focused on helping women transform their lives and achieve their dreams. I can't wait to interview Karin. She's married with 2 kids and resides in South Carolina, and I know you're going to love this episode. Karin, thanks ever so much for sparing the time and coming on the show. It's great to have you.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I know I am as well, because I can't wait to hear more about your book. I love shocking titles, you know. I like to get people to sit up and stuff. So looking forward to this one. And I know that you're a speaker and you also are a life coach that helps women in particular transform their lives. So that's real good synergy with what I do. And just so you know, I put this podcast together because I'm a domestic violence survivor turned badass, as I always put it out there, say. And I just think there's a power in sharing our stories. And if I had been able to listen to this sounds really ego-ish, but if I was able to listen to this podcast when I was on my real sort of low, it would have kind of kept me going and kept that sort of light at the end of the tunnel. And that was why I put it together. So I have these 3 pillars that I often talk about. Freedom in love, which is really around self-care and self-love, but love that we give out into the world. But rather than romantic relationships, it's freedom in loving ourselves, really. Freedom in money, so financial freedom, because if you're struggling for cash, it can be stressful. And freedom in mind, which mindset really, to be honest, the word mind just fitted with love, money, mind, but mindset is huge, isn't it? It's a lot deeper than just mind or mindset. But when we have Fred in the head getting in our way, it kind of disables us moving forward. So I'm sure you can relate to all 3 of those. And those are my 3 pillars, because those are what have given me sort of equilibrium really in my life. So it's great to have you on to sort of share your story of how you got on to be doing what you're doing really today, like how it all started. And you can share some tips along the way for anyone that's listening who could be stuck right now, really.
I'd love that.
And then we'll get on to the book. So to keep people in suspense, hang in there. We'll hear all about Karin's book in a short while. So let us know how did you get to be this amazing speaker and life coach? How did it all begin?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. There's a lot to unpack, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. Really, I went into corporate America kind of as a joke, just like a whim, okay, I'm just going to try this for a little bit, try to make as much money as I can. And then I want to go back to my acting career because I was all about following my dreams.
Yeah.
But as luck would have it, it turns out I was really good at sales and I got my first commission check. And it had 4 numbers on it. And I'd never seen so much money on one check before. And being a formerly starving artist, who could barely afford to put food on the table, that was really exciting for me. And I got hooked. The money drug was given to me, right? And I got that taste. And I spent the next 15 years in corporate chasing higher paychecks, bigger titles, more external validation. And it wasn't until 2019 where we had a couple of deaths in the family in a short period of time that I suddenly was faced with my mortality. and this realization that, you know, I'm almost 40. I'm not going to be here for the rest of, you know, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, but I'm not going to be, I don't know how long that's going to be. So what am I doing with my life? Am I happy? Am I, you know, living my full purpose? Is this really what I want to be doing? Or am I wasting my life making PowerPoint presentations all day?
Yeah.
And
I totally relate to this because I was in the corporate world. So I think we always have like this life event, don't we, that wakes us up. Really.
Yes,
yeah,
completely. And, you know, everyone kind of would like poo-poo the idea when I would say, I think I'm having a midlife crisis. People would be like, nah, you're too young. Wow, please, you know, you got lots of living left. You're young. And I'm thinking like, dude, I'm almost 40. Like, I'm lucky if it's midlife. It could be more than that for me. I don't know. So that was really stressful. And it kind of set me on this journey to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I was watching The Secret. If you ever have watched, you know, this whole idea of like law of attraction, and Jack Canfield was on, and he was talking about his book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, and how he got all of these books written. And all of a sudden, this little idea in the back of my brain that had been planted years ago popped up to the forefront and said, oh my gosh, Karin, that's it. You have to finish your book that you started in 2009. This is it. This has to be what you do. And I started writing it feverishly all the time. I hired an editor, and it kind of just took off. And what I found so interesting is that when I started writing the book, I didn't know I was going to become a life coach. I didn't know I was going to become a speaker. But as I got this fire in my belly and I started to get really excited about life again, I realized I want to tell people. I want every woman to know that this is possible and how I feel and what they can do. So there began the speaking. And then once I started speaking, I was like, man, I'm like getting these people really hyped up. And then I'm walking away from them. Like, I want to be there on that journey. I want to actually help them implement and hold them accountable and see them change their life. Because I know for myself, also having a coach, like how instrumental that has been. And so I was like, that's it. I'm going to go get certified. I'm going to become a coach. And that's what I did. And it's been so freeing for me to be able to go through that transformation and really build a life that I love.
Yeah. And I think that's it, isn't it? I think when you sort of in this world, in a way like the online world as well, that when I look back at or I've still got friends that maybe are in jobs that they don't really like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've got friends that are in jobs that they love. So I'm not saying that everybody in a job is in something, but you realize, you look back and realize the journey that you've been on, because I kind of like hang around with all these online people who are similar to me and you, who are really grateful for the journey they've been on and the transformation. And it's just like, I think sometimes people do get stuck, don't they?
Oh yeah.
In like a job, like you said at the beginning with the money as well.
Oh, hello, financial freedom.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the corporate world's good for, you know, I look back and I think actually they were happy times. Yeah, I got a lot of experience, but it was that like carrot on a string all the time of progression, and you get kind of drawn into it, don't you? Of like, I've got a bigger title, I'm getting bigger money and bonuses and company car and all this kind of stuff. And I look back to that, and so it really was like taking my foot off the edge of the cliff when I first left.
Yes.
Because people thought I was crazy as well. So I totally relate to what your story, because I think people thought I was mad to kind of be leaving this, you know, corporate job.
Yeah. Why would you walk away from 6 figures? You know,
Exactly.
Why would you walk away from this like cushy lifestyle that affords you going out to dinner and buying nice clothes and having a nice car in the driveway? Like, that's crazy talk, you know?
Exactly. But for you, like maybe, because there could be people listening to this who are in a corporate job, who are feeling like that, but it's fear, isn't it, that stops them making that step? Because I know I kept coming back to that, you know, I kept coming back to like, oh, I'll carry it on for a little bit longer. And, you know, but then I did make the move and thought, right, now is the time. I'm just going to, you know, I don't care if it messes up sort of thing. I'll learn from that. But any sort of advice that you'd give anybody that's listening to this who can relate to your story and mine, actually.
Yeah. There really comes down to trusting yourself and believing in yourself. That's the thing, right? That's what was missing for me for years, because I started having these like feelings in like 2016, right? But I didn't leave corporate until August 2020. So it was a good 4 years of me, like you said, you'd have a happy moment and you'd be like, I'll just hang in a little bit longer. Like, it's not that bad. I'm only crying in the bathroom once a week. That's fine. I was like, what? But okay. So, but we don't trust ourselves. And it's fascinating to me. Why didn't I trust myself? I mean, when you look at the teams I was managing, the projects I was overseeing, I mean, I was chief of staff for a president of a business that did $13 billion in revenue. Like, you don't just hand that position to anyone, like that is a big deal. And yeah, I, for some reason thought, well, I was only successful in that role because of the people who are around me and the mentors I had, and because I knew everybody at the company. So I was able to negotiate and navigate things really well. So it was like, I almost put a qualification around my success. I was only good because, when in reality, no, I was good because I was good. Yeah. And if I can be good here, why would I not be good over here doing something else?
It's because it's uncomfortable though, isn't it?
Oh,
I see that people all the time where you're moving from where you're comfortable and that role inside out, and you've been doing it for quite a amount of time, and you're moving into this uncomfortable thing. But actually, being uncomfortable is great. This is what I say to a lot of my students. Being uncomfortable, you're learning, aren't you? Okay, you're in that fear zone, I suppose, because it's kind of blind, isn't it? You're in this journey. Yeah. You're not sure what you're doing and all that, and you're learning and all that kind of stuff. But actually, we're not going to grow if we stay in that same position of the comfortable spot. So it's always good to feel uncomfortable, I think, and moving into that.
I agree. And I think that's part of the reason why I went into my midlife crisis also, was everything was so comfortable. There was no struggle. There was no challenge. I was bored at work. And I'm like, if I'm going to sit here for 8 hours in an office and then another 2 or 3 hours at night doing work, like, I would like to at least enjoy what I'm doing and be engaged. And I just wasn't. So for me, that stagnation really started to become the death of me. I started to fall into the drinking and the, other habits. I don't know, maybe to spice it up or to try to take the edge off, or like feel something. I don't even know, but it was so toxic. And so now it's like, oh, I could go weeks without having a drink, because it's just like, I have so many cool things that are happening that are taking my attention. I don't need something else to fill a void anymore.
Yeah. I also think though, as well, I don't know if you agree with this, is that you're doing something that's not the normal when you because most people, society, it's that whole thing. You go to school, you go into the corporate job, you move up the ladder, you work until you retire. And so to break out of that, it's like, are you crazy? And so there's that pressure as well, because you're going against the norm, aren't you? And so you put the pressure on yourself, like, oh my God, what about if I fail? There's that fear as well. So
and what if everybody sees me fail, right? That for me was scarier. Like, I'm not okay. I mean, I don't want to fail, right? But like, I could handle just like trying something new and not being good at it. But knowing that every single person on LinkedIn that I'm connected with, and Instagram and Facebook, and all these people are watching me, that was what was the most scary for me.
Yeah. So anything that you would say to anyone, again, listen to this, because I think for people who were where we were, or are where we were, sorry, what, any sort of bit of advice really?
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of journaling, a lot of really turning inward and reflecting on what I really wanted out of life, because it's so tempting to be chasing that paycheck and going for the bigger number, because you're just focused on society's pressures. Oh, you're defined by the clothes you wear, or the car you drive, or how big your house is. And that stuff to me was literally irrelevant. Like, I didn't want a bigger house. I didn't really want like a better car. I didn't want to buy more stuff to cram in my house. Like, that's not what I wanted anymore. What really mattered to me was being present for my family, being a better wife, being a better mom, helping other women get rid of the golden handcuffs and break free from those corporate chains. Like that to me became my mission. And so people will joke with me all the time. They're like, these are your money making years, Karin. You can get back into corporate anytime. I know some people who are hiring. And I'm like, no, I don't want to make more money. I mean, yes, I want to make money, but like, you know what I mean? That isn't the driving, that's not the driving force for me, right? Like, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the bigger purpose. But we don't stop and take that time to reflect. Right. We just are in the rat race. We're going through the motions every day until, like you said, there's a life event or you get knocked out of the hamster wheel and you go, oh my gosh, like this is what I could be doing. Like I could actually have Fridays off and not work Fridays. That's amazing. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, I want that. Okay. So I started seeing things from a different perspective when I started being more open to being honest with myself and listening to what I was really saying inside and letting go of all the other dreams and the other societal pressures.
Yeah. No,
it's hard to do it, but
it is hard to do, but it's so worth it, isn't it?
Oh, totally.
You make mistakes along the way and that's fine because you learn from those. I think people got to be prepared that it isn't always going to be like a perfect line. But, it's so worth it because you're doing it for you at the end of the day, So come on, tell us about the book then. I'm going to have a quick look at my notes to make sure I get the title right. But it's The Ins and Outs of My Vagina. Is it penetration memoir or
penetrating? Yes, a penetrating.
So tell us about it. Let us know.
Okay. Are you ready to be penetrated? No, I'm just kidding. So it's a really fun comedic book. It really is a look at my life, but any woman's life on their journey to womanhood, all of the amazing things that we go through as women and vagina owners. So, the first time you get your period, discovering that you even have a vagina and like, what is this? Like, and getting mistaking certain body parts for something else, which is a really funny story in chapter 1. I talk about urinary tract infections and health issues, having sex, losing your virginity. And like the way I lost it, is the best abstinence campaign you could possibly have. So it's really presented in a funny and conversational way. I mean, a lot of women have been reading the book in 48 to 72 hours. They're like, I can't put this down. It's so funny and relatable, which I love to hear. But I also
it sounds it because I think sometimes we're all too serious, especially when we've come from the corporate world. When we come from the corporate world, we get a little bit boring, don't we? We get stuck in this way, or we can only have fun at the team building or conference events. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there's still boundaries. Right?
Oh yeah.
So I think it's good to actually. Life's too short not to have some fun, and it sounds like the book has got some real learnings in it and some lessons, but also having fun with it and to be memorable, really.
Yeah. And for women, so a couple things. So I really wrote this book because I don't want other women ever feeling alone. And I spent much of my life feeling like my body was the only body that was doing this weird thing, or I was a freak or weird. And actually all of our bodies are going through this. I talk about for the first time ever an ectopic pregnancy that I had that resulted in miscarriage and what that was like, and that was very traumatic, but it was the type of thing that's like, what am I going to say to people? I don't know what to say. So I'm going to say nothing. And I just suffered through that whole time alone where I probably had friends and other family members and people who went through the exact same situation that could have been there to comfort me. And so I hope that this book will also get women to open up more and to talk to their healthcare provider or talk to their friends or family members or whoever they, trust about these things that we're going through because we aren't alone. Yeah,
no, I love that. So I'm presuming the book is already launched and it's out. How do people get a copy? And we can also put everything, I know we've got all the information around this. We can put everything in the show notes. So that people listening can go and look below and have a look and click on the links and stuff. But let us know how people can go and get it.
Yeah, that would be great. So you can head over to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com. For those of your listeners maybe that are in the South Carolina area, there's a couple of local stores that are going to be carrying it, like Barnes and Noble and Fiction Addiction. But most of you are probably going to buy it online in either paperback or ebook. You can also follow me on Instagram at Karin Freeland. I'm always posting on Twitter at Karin Freeland and on LinkedIn or Facebook at Karin Freeland Life Coaching. I posted about the book a little bit there too. And I hope that people will check it out because it's really such a fun read. And it's not like anything else on the market. You know, I think you'll really go, wow, she did not hold back here. Like she really put it all out.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely go and get a copy because
Thank you.
It's the curiosity as well, isn't it? I think you've captured people there. So you've got people's attention, but also it sounds like a fun way for people to get all that really awesome knowledge as well.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things, I'll just tell you really quick, is my vagina is actually a character named V. And so she's like very sassy and always sabotaging my life. So I think it was really fun to like, you know, talk about being boring in corporate and then like, you know, getting this awesome experience to be creative again and really like develop this character of V and bring her to life. It was just so fun and so freeing.
Yeah, sounds brilliant. Great stuff. So how do people, is it the same places that people could reach out to you, like on Facebook and Instagram, if they just wanted to connect with you and find out more about your coaching? Is that the best way to
Yeah, absolutely. And you can check out my website also, KarinFreeland.com. That's Karin with an I. And then on my website, you can go to the life coaching tab and learn all about my program. It's 6 months and it's just a really great way to invest in yourself and give yourself the gift of this freedom of mind and freedom of money and just, you know, really living the life that you were always meant to live instead of your default life.
Yeah. So what's happening? What's happening this quarter? Anything you want to share that obviously you got your program. Is there anything new that you're working on?
Yeah. So honestly, I'm really just focused on getting the book out there and launching that and doing a bunch of podcasts and just talking about it all. But I know I've been thinking about putting together a challenge. And I think this is definitely something that I need to just sit down, carve out some time and put something together because, people need this support. And especially as COVID continues to drone on, you know, people just continue to reflect like, what do I really want to do with my life? Maybe they don't want to go back to the office that they're being called back to, or, you know, whatever their circumstances are. It's a great time to just pause and really figure out like, how do you want the rest of this chapter to play out?
I think more people, like you say, during this pandemic have kind of reflected on their job that they felt was really secure, for instance, you know.
Yeah.
It might not be now, you know.
That's right.
So I think more people, and especially women, because I think it's hard for women because majority of, and this is generalized statements really, but generally women are givers, aren't they? They help the family, they give to the husband, the kids. That's if they've got children, and they neglect themselves sometimes. And also with sort of gender equality in the corporate world, I know when I remember going for like a leadership role and it was all men and just me applying for it. And I felt I had to work twice as hard to get that role, you know.
Yes.
I think sometimes it's like going out there and doing something for you. And it sounds like what you're covering in your program and in your book as well is really, really centered around that, which is awesome to hear because that's so aligned with kind of like my mission and purpose. So it's great to hear it. And I'll be definitely checking out the book. And I encourage everybody listening to go and check it out. And we will put the link, as I say, in the show notes, so you can just literally scroll down and click on that. So I always ask everybody at the end of the interview, what does freedom mean to you? Because I think it's great that it all means different things to different people.
Yeah.
There's never a right or wrong answer to this. So Karin, what does freedom mean to you?
Yeah, to me, it means choices. The flexibility to do what I really want to do and not what I think I have to do or I'm supposed to do based on society or what I've done in the past. So just love to have those choices and options in front of me.
Exactly, yeah. And I think now, especially like we've just been saying about the pandemic, you've got, if you're doing something for you, you've got the choices to be able to make for you, rather than feeling like pressurized. I'm always calling Facebook fakebook. And even though I share on Instagram and Facebook the best of me, like we all do, it's still, there's that pressure, isn't there? I think for a lot of people that, people are surprised when, oh my God, they broke up. I thought they had the perfect life. It was because on Facebook it looks like that.
Exactly.
And so it's so important to really do exactly what you've been saying and do the things that's in your heart for you, because who cares? There was a quote actually I saw the other day. It was like, why are you so bothered about what other people think about you when most people don't even fully love themselves?
Right.
But we are
so
always
important.
bothered about what other people think, and it's actually just focus on you. Who cares what anyone else thinks? So really good to have you on the show. Let's stay connected, because I think there's some good stuff we could do between each other. Whereabouts are you based?
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, I'm in South Carolina in the US.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Well, thanks ever so much. We'll stay connected. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Great to be here. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and subscribe on my YouTube channel. And if you want to get more freedom in your life, then come and join Your Freedom Project Facebook group, which the link is below in the comments section. And I am giving you a copy of my visualization manifesting book. So manifest more freedom in your life and live the life of your dreams.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.